Hello, you'll never guess what. There is more wrestling news featuring myself.
Why?
Just Friday, isn't it?
What are they all doing?
Wrestling and politics and...
God's sake!
Because wrestling isn't just about the matches, it's about the transactions.
Friends we made along the way.
Yes. I'm Jack, of course, from Cultaholic.com. This is Ben from Triple Jump. And, well, we did our Fyter Fest predictions yesterday. We shot them yesterday. They're out on the channel now. Mm-hmm. The stream is tomorrow night. And my Twitter was just full of people going, Ben's back. And I was like, where was Ben off? But I've realised that your position at Triple Jump is currently filled by a man named
Dick Mychinko. Yeah, unfortunately, I lost some predictions over E3, which is a huge gaming convention that happened a couple of weeks ago. And as a result, Dick Mychinko is a new presenter who's sort of filled my role on Triple Jump. So it's just nice to be back presenting again. I've missed being in the office.
Looks like you a bit.
He's really handsome.
First of all, it looks as though both AEW's TNT weekly show and the new SmackDown Live on Fox will start in the same week. Next up, former co-workers of Eric Bischoff in TNA are said to be stunned that he has been hired in WWE. And finally, there's been a slight change to the AEW card with a stipulation added to one of the singles matches. So first of all, let's talk about TV, because come October, Ben, it's all going to kick off in the wrestling world. SmackDown is moving to Fox. They've got a big new deal. Apparently Fox are putting a lot of money and a lot of hopes and dreams into it.
A lot of faith.
And a lot of, that's the word I was looking for.
Hopes and dreams.
Aspirations into this new show on their network. They're going to apparently treat it more like a legit sports show, but also try and make it like a big spectacle. But also, All Elite Wrestling show on TNT is set to launch at around the same time. Could this be the start of a new, not Monday Night Wars, but a new Wars, a new Attitude Era?
It's impossible not to draw parallels.
It is
Even
impossible.
If it's not on the same day, which it sounds like it's gonna. Is it?
This is the thing.
Okay.
So AEW filed a trademark for Tuesday Night Dynamite quite a while ago. Everyone was like, it's going to be on a Tuesday. But they've also, potentially trying to throw people off, they've also filed one for Wednesday Night Dynamite.
So they could potentially be going up against Angelo Dawkins' NXT.
That's right. They've got no chance. So according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it looks as though the start date for TV will be the 2nd of October, the day after my birthday.
Happy birthday to Jack!
Which is revealed to me there that my birthday is on a Tuesday this year, which isn't brilliant. There are still apparently meetings going on regarding television, battle strategies, and a variety of ideas from the TNT side, but Wednesday is pretty much the day unless something changes, with 8 to 10 p.m. being currently the most likely time slot.
I don't think it behooves AEW to go head-to-head with WWE. I know that they...
Do you think they should go Tuesday?
I just think there's nothing to be gained from it, apart from both... I mean, it will drive... I think that there's going to be an increase in the craziness of both companies to try and outdo one another anyway. But if they go head-to-head at the same time slot, I think that just hurts all parties involved, especially AEW. They stand more to lose.
Well, I think... When it was going to be Tuesday, that wouldn't have actually clashed with SmackDown because SmackDown's moving to Fridays once it moves to Fox.
Right.
But with Wednesday, of course, yes, it would clash with NXT.
I mean, yeah, but that's not on syndicated TV, is it?
No.
So that's different.
Now, apparently also, on the WWE side of things for this new SmackDown Live show, Fox have been testing out 2 new cameras that they want to use in the debut show. I don't know the significance of that. Sam would understand why that's important. He'd probably be like, 2 cameras are good, big cameras. Which is on the 4th of October, so that same week on the Friday. They are also looking to invite a lot of celebrities, which is one of the reasons that the first show will be at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, which is where the Lakers play basketball.
Is it?
And where you see people like Jack Nicholson goes and that, sits on courtside.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they going to do it at the same time?
As the basketball?
Yeah, they're going to sort of operate around it.
They want to kick it off with a bang, like it's the equivalent of a big boxing match and the place for the real stars to be at. Kind of WrestleMania 1 vibes, where you had like Cyndi Lauper rocking up and stuff, Mr. T and Liberace. Liberace was at WrestleMania 1. The idea, he was the ring announcer or timekeeper in the main event. The idea in particular, since AEW will be debuting the same week, 99%, is to make WWE look as major league as possible and to thus make AEW from day one appear to be like the minor leagues. Will it backfire though?
I don't know. I don't know, because ultimately it doesn't matter how shiny your thing is.
Oh no.
What?
That's my birthday week, and it's when it's all kicking off. Adam Pacitti is definitely going to want me in to do live streams, isn't he?
Yes. It's going to be the birthday stream.
Sorry, carry on. What were you saying?
No, I was going to say, it doesn't matter how shiny a thing is if the storylines are still bland and stupid and confusing and there's no real reason to watch. It doesn't matter if they can blind you with how incredible it looks.
Yeah, everything
There's no reason to stick around.
In the words of Kid Cudi, everything that shine ain't always gonna be gold.
I think Kid Cudi is a mastermind, to be frank, with pearls of wisdom like that. If I can correlate it to video games very quickly, if I may, some people may not get it, but like, if you're talking about AAA game development, you're talking about Anthem, released by BioWare, the huge studio responsible for the Mass Effect series and the Dragon Age series, and published by EA, which owns everybody's soul in the entire world. And then they produced Anthem, which looked graphically really pretty, but was crap.
Oh, okay.
It's possible. It's possible to make something that looks ridiculously well produced and is still has no substance.
I remember one as well.
Yeah?
But I can't remember the name of the game.
Crash Bandicoot.
No, it wasn't Crash Bandicoot. It was another one that looked really stunning, but then wasn't as good. I'm just going to say Avatar from the film world. There we go.
Sure.
Avatar. Next up, we talked in our last news video today about Eric Bischoff and potential reasons why he and Paul Heyman were hired. Some of the reasons were to keep them away from All Elite Wrestling. Other potential reasons were because Bischoff knows how to work with TV networks, given this whole Fox deal, and because Paul Heyman is close with Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey, major crossover stars. But while everyone seems to be abuzz about Paul Heyman's hire, and Meltzer even described him in this week's Observer as sometimes a booking genius, right?
Sometimes.
He's been a little bit more critical of Eric Bischoff. As far as the guy in charge of creative, the move was stunning. It's been noted that the move shows just how little McMahon has really paid attention to wrestling since Bischoff was put in a similar role with TNA, and that run was largely considered a disaster. A number of people who were in TNA while he was there were stunned, noting it showed just how little McMahon has actually followed the industry. In addition, Bischoff has very little familiarity with the current product, which was tough enough for Bill Watts when he made his WCW comeback after 5 years away, in a business that changed somewhat during the period he was gone. But hardly like the modern business. Right, Meltzer's just gone on one with the length of that sentence, and sometimes he writes a bit strangely. But the point is that Bischoff isn't necessarily the man for this role. Bischoff is the kind of guy you want. He's a wonderful on-screen heel authority figure. He can do that. I imagine he's probably good at TV networking and that sort of thing. But when it comes to booking, he's never been regarded amongst the top tier of bookers in terms of creative ability, I suppose. The TNA run was evidence of that. He's not in that upper echelon, such as Heyman. Triple H is fantastic. I'm such a big fan of Triple H's booking, honestly.
Right.
Gedo over in New Japan. People who are considered really good bookers. The guy that I always forget his name, the WWE guy during the Attitude Era who used to storyboard everything. Oh, he's dead now. He passed away sadly, but he was meant to be like the I think. But he's meant to be like the mastermind of the Attitude Era secretly in his office and that. But anyway, Bischoff's not one of these guys. He's meant to be more of a TV character who did backstage work and then became something more. And now he's been pulled back into this booking role. I just don't know how it's going to go.
Be interesting. I mean, as you said, he's got the TV experience, and that's where SmackDown is going. Yes. To that sort of environment. So he may play less of a creative role and more of an administrative.
Well, I'm thinking as well, the fact that he's on SmackDown, naturally I'd put them on other brands. Because Bischoff used to be the GM of Raw, and Heyman used to be the head booker of SmackDown. And SmackDown's always been seen as the more progressive, slightly willing to try different things show. And I just feel it's weird to have Heyman, the more progressive one, over on Raw, and Bischoff, he's more of a throwback on the Blue brand. Find it a bit strange.
Yeah, it'd be weird, wouldn't it? Because if he ultimately is there to try and drag Raw kicking and screaming forward a little bit.
Yeah.
But then Bischoff is maybe stifling SmackDown a bit, and you've just got two shows sort of leveling out rather than any one of them excelling.
It also depends ultimately as well on how much creative control Vince does give to either man. But it's going to be very interesting. So if you notice any big tonal shifts on Raw or SmackDown, these men are meant to start imminently, not immediately, as was reported by some outlets. The word was imminently, not immediately. They're slightly different.
So soon.
Soon. Next up, let's talk about All Elite Wrestling, Fyter Fest. Are you excited, Ben, for Fyter Fest?
I'm so excited.
Well,
yeah.
Temper that excitement for a second because there's a change to update you onto the card. No, it's all right. It's a good change, actually.
Okay.
Jon Moxley versus Joey Janela now has a stipulation.
A stip?
Yeah, it's going to be a non-sanctioned match. Now,
so they can throw cigarettes on the floor.
Yeah, as they did in the build-up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I have an issue with non-sanctioned matches, or unsanctioned matches as they're called in WWE, because it's been announced as part of the official video. If it's non-sanctioned, why are they promoting it? They should be like, you should have Cody going like, no, it's too dangerous, don't sanction the match, and they turn up anyway in street clothes. It should be shot on like a Nokia in the car park.
Right.
That's what an unsanctioned match
is.
Yeah. But instead, no, but in all seriousness, I think this is a good decision, and it's one that I could sort of see coming. I thought it was going to change on the night, but it's now.
Do you think, given that cigarettes were involved in the build-up to this match, that a cigarette will be involved in this match in some form?
Well, yes, I do actually. Because did you see the pre-show for Double or Nothing?
Unfortunately not.
In the Battle Royal, Joey Janela had a cigarette, a lit one, stapled to his forehead by Jimmy Havoc.
Oh, God.
So yes, I do think that cigarettes will factor in this match. I think there'll be one cigarette spot, possibly a rehash of that, and then I think that it'll, apart from that, be just a very hard-hitting and dangerous and wild brawl with a few high spots sprinkled in, and blood as well, potentially.
Loads of it.
And finally, let's have a little update on a news story this week which caused a bit of controversy and caused Kenny Omega to kick off on social media, say some pretty judgmental things, to be honest, but I can see why he was angry. So, Fight for the Fallen is airing at the same time as WWE's network show of the Evolve Anniversary show. So Evolve are obviously the company that WWE are affiliated with, an indie, which is almost sometimes seen as like a feeder system to NXT, which is a feeder system to WWE, but Evolve has its own history and its own rich past and all that. But at the same time, they are now closely linked with WWE. WWE have, apparently over the past few years, Vince has just hummed and hawed a lot on whether to show promotions like Evolve, Progress and ICW on the WWE network. And every time it comes close to happening, apparently he changes his mind and goes, nah, it's not. And everyone's just going, it's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it, that you finally made the decision to air an Evolve show on the day of an AEW show, and especially Fight for the Fallen, where the proceeds are going to the victims of a shooting.
Yeah, that's
which is why Kenny Omega kicked off online.
That would be considered a dick move.
It would, but Meltzer has said, according to his sources, that well, I must point out it's one person on the WWE side, so they will be biased, but they've said that Evolve and WWE have had talks about putting an Evolve show on the network for a long time. This dated back to the launch of FloSlam, remember FloSlam? If not earlier. They noted it was a coincidence that the Evolve 10th anniversary show was in Philadelphia the day before a WWE pay-per-view show in that city, which meant that like there was production equipment and staff in town, and they could, you know, put on a show feasibly on the network on the same weekend.
I see. So it's sort of like a coincidence in the same way that CM Punk was fired on his wedding day. It just so happened.
That's a very good analogy.
It just so happened that it showed. I mean, it was already in the post for like the 3 days. How was he supposed to know?
That's a very, very good analogy, and one which I suspect is probably accurate, but I'm not willing to say that on the record.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
I will though.
Okay.
I don't work for Cultaholic.
You don't care.
I don't care.
Don't give a damn.
I'm a radical boy.
Oh. Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments section down below. You can follow Cultaholic on Twitter @Cultaholic and on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do, then please do check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Cultaholic, where you can pledge. And don't forget, of course, most importantly of all, to hit subscribe and to join us.